now that you've had a chance to try it for yourself, it's worth quickly going over some of the advantages to doing so. Obviously, once you've got this function and you've got these tests, anytime you make changes to the function, you can just rerun this test script. And you know that if all the tests pass, then any changes you've made have not broken the functionality. Otherwise, if you'd done that previously without the test script, you would have had to have gone to the page that runs this function. Now, this function might only run after someone's uploaded some work and it's been graded, and then finally it calculates whether it was a pass or a fail. And that's obviously quite a few steps to go through just to test the function. So if you did want to test this in a traditional way, you'd have to upload three pieces of work, mark one that would get 20%, mark one that would get 50, one that would mark 40, and then go through and check each of them have been graded correctly. And if they only get graded at the point the work is marked or uploaded, every time you ran the test, you'd have to go through that long-winded process. Now, that's just a hypothetical example, but that is the kind of thing you come across. So, for example, on a real website, you might have something that calculates the user's shipping cost based on their postcode and the weight of the basket. Now, obviously, that's a lot of different variables, and going through and testing that correctly would require going through and creating shopping baskets with the relevant user accounts and the relevant shopping baskets. So that's a really long-winded process. Whereas if you've got a test script like this, you can just plug in the different postcodes and the different weights and check that everything is working as intended. Obviously, it does take some time up front to write the tests, but once you've got those tests, you can just run them over and over again. So although there is a bit of upfront time spent, that time is often actually less than you would have to go through and manually fill out forms on the website over and over again. So although it does take time, if you compare that time to the amount of time you'd normally spend testing, opening up the browser, finding the right page, filling in the correct information, then the time difference really actually isn't that much, especially once you want to run the same test more than once. And if you place all the tests for a function in a single file, you can just run that function once and check that it works anytime you make a change to it. And ideally, and we'll come on to this later, the test should make sure that every line of code inside the function has actually been executed and is working as intended.